Now the latest from ITV News Meridian with Sangeeta Barbara and Fred Dinage.
Good evening and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines here in the south. Depressed, anxious and scared. The impact of bullying on thousands of school children as a Sussex charity reveals why people pick on others.
Mothers United. North Hampshire mums make their stand against cuts they say will deprive their children.
A royal footman reveals some flighty secrets.
So I used to say to her, take your shoes off, Your Majesty. So she always used to run around in her bare feet.
And staying with nobility, Fred is in conversation with Hugh Bonneville, aka Lord Grantham, asking whether there's life after Downton. Good evening. Stress, family breakups and suffering traumatic events are some of the reasons why people become bullies. That's according to a major new survey by a Brighton-based charity.
Yeah, doctors say more needs to be done to tackle bullying, which can lead to depression, self-harm, even suicidal thoughts. Now, the charity Ditch the Label spoke to almost 9,000 young people and found that almost half of 12 to 20-year-olds have been bullied, most by another student.
Twice as many boys bully others compared to girls, and 1 in 4 young people who have been bullied went on to bully others.
Well, experts say bullying is impacting on the health, welfare and future prospects of millions of young people. This from our social affairs correspondent, Christine Alsford.
Amanda Costa knows all too well the horrendous impact that bullying can have. Her entire secondary school years affected by constant threats and abuse that sometimes left her considering taking her own life.
I felt pretty much worthless. You know, I was angry as well because I wanted to do something but I couldn't. I was depressed. I was anxious because I wanted to get out of the situation, and I was scared that, you know, I was going to go to a class and everything would start again.
1.5 million young people have been bullied in the last year, according to today's survey from a Brighton-based charity. It attempts to unpick the reasons why young people turn to bullying, whether online or face-to-face.
When we talk about bullying, we talk about the reactive, we talk about the people who get bullied and the impact that it has on them, and we never look deeper into that, you know, the dynamics of bullying and the reasons why people bully. So we really hope that this is a major game changer in our sector and across practitioners and schools and colleges.
The survey shows that bullies spend less time with their family than the general population. Many have experience of fallouts or arguments at home, and they're much more likely than others to have experienced a traumatic event. That's certainly true for reformed bully Tyler Bonner from Chichester in Sussex, who says the death of a parent led to a 3-year campaign of aggressive behaviour towards up to 20 others.
I think a lot of it was out of frustration and anger, and that I couldn't verbalise how I was feeling to other people, so I couldn't reach out for the help that I so desperately needed at the time. I just thought that because my life was a misery, everyone else's life should be a misery as well.
How do you feel now about your behaviour and what you did?
But I'm not proud of what I've done, and the whole idea of me doing this interview is so that I can potentially stop other people who think it's hard, who think it's cruel at school at the moment.
Things only improved for Amanda, who lives at Guildford in Surrey, when she moved on from education. Her message to those who are being targeted is that things will get better.
I can go to work happy, you know, I'm no longer feeling in a state of despair and things like that. I'm not scared of people anymore, you know, because I don't get bullied anymore.
With cyber abuse so prevalent and sexual bullying on the rise too, today's report says we'll only beat the problem by focusing as much on the perpetrators as the victims. Christine Osford, ITV News.
In other news, the chief executive of the Under Fire Health Trust, Southern Health, is facing questioning from MPs this evening at a special meeting at Westminster. Katrina Percy was criticised after it emerged the trust failed to investigate hundreds of unexpected deaths over a 4-year period, including the death of Connor Sparrowhawk. The trust covers Hampshire, Dorset, Wiltshire, Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire and provides services to more than 45,000 people.
The trial's begun of a Weymouth man charged with murder. Rahman Al-Rabia was found dead at a flat in Bar Street near the seafront in November last year. Nicholas Price, who's 43, is also charged with attempted murder and wounding with intent.
The inquest into the death of a soldier in Surrey has heard how she might have been trying to grab the muzzle of a gun when she was shot. Private Cheryl James died from a single gunshot to the head at Deep Cut Barracks in 1995. A firearms expert has told the hearing that blackening on the victim's hands could mean she'd been trying to fend off the weapon. The inquest continues.
An inquest into the death in Crete of a teenager from Hampshire has recorded a verdict of unlawful killing. Archie Lloyd, who was 18 and from Micheldever, was hurt after a row with a club promoter in August last year. The court heard his skull was fractured in a fight. 22-year-old Sebastian Trabucati from West Sussex has been charged with gross negligence leading to manslaughter.
Conductors on Southern Rail services have voted to go on strike in a dispute over their role in driver-only trains. It comes after a new grade of onboard supervisor was announced, which members of the RMT union say they have not accepted. Conductors will stage 3 24-hour strikes this month and next month.
A group of mothers have held a protest today against planned cuts to children's centres in Hampshire.
Yes, the parents in Basingstoke want the council to rethink proposals to slash more than £20 million from the budget.
Well, the plan is to close all 54 children's centres and replace them with 11 hubs to help streamline services and save money, as Kate Bunkle now reports.
Save our children's centres! Save our children's centres!
Most of the families here say children's centres saved them. Today they came to protest at plans to close all 54 in Hampshire.
I started using children's centres when my son was 14 months old. I just moved to the area, out of town. I have always had mental health issues. I just got pregnant with this one and I completely relapsed. The Sure Start centres are the only reason I came out of that hole.
They're the missing link for everyone. They're the friendly faces that you can pop in the centre and see on a bad day and just say, actually, do you know what, I need a moment to chat to someone. When I had my babies, I didn't know anyone else who had children. None of my friends had children yet. It was really lonely, and Sure Start Centre were a brilliant place to go and meet people in the first instance. And then I became unwell with postnatal depression, and the Sure Start Centre helped me and supported me through that.
The council needs to plug a gap in the budget of £98 million, of which more than £21 million needs to come from children's services. They want to replace the current children's centres with 11 family support service hubs, which mean they can streamline what they offer to help the most vulnerable.
Save our pedals!
The consultation process is due to finish in 2 weeks. Kate Bunkle, ITV News, Basingstoke.
A bus driver in Gosport has come under fire after he was seen appearing to use his mobile phone while driving with passengers on board. The man was driving the Eclipse service on Saturday afternoon when one of the passengers caught it on her camera. Bus operators First Solent has confirmed it's investigating the incident.
The family of a woman from Dorset who's been missing for more than a month are asking for the public's help to find her. Linda Trim, who's 67, was reported missing on the 27th of February when she didn't return to the Thornhill Hotel in Bournemouth, where she'd been staying for the last 7 weeks. Police say her disappearance is out of character.
You're watching ITV News here in the Meridian region. Coming up, Simon's weather forecast plus.
How the Queen was very down to earth when she had her head in the clouds.
It's a great story, and for more on all of our stories, head to our website itv.com/Meridian. If you have any views or news, why not call us on 0808 10 10 095 or get in touch via Facebook. You can send us a tweet, remember, at ITV Meridian.
It's been a notorious eyesore for years, but now ambitious plans have been unveiled to redevelop a derelict cement works.
Yes, the massive site near Shoreham closed 25 years ago, but remains a blot on the landscape.
Well, now a group called the South Down Project wants to transform it, replacing industrial ruin with a new eco-village, as Malcolm Shaw will explain.
It's become an unmistakable landmark for all the wrong reasons. This giant cement works at Shoreham covers almost 120 acres, an ugly scar on the face of the South Downs. Once a quarry run by Blue Circle, production stopped way back in 1991. A quarter of a century on, it still stands derelict.
I'm selling Sussex to my clients to come and visit our wonderful county, and when we drive past, and I drive past every single day this site, it is a monstrosity, it's a shambles, it's a blot on the landscape, so we must do something about it, and urgently.
Now a group called the South Down Project have drawn up ambitious plans for the cement works, 2,200 new homes along with shops, businesses and leisure facilities. A river rerouted through the eco-village to give it a Venice-like feel. The cost, a staggering £1.3 billion.
It would give something like 4,400 jobs. We'd see something like £90 million a year for the next 10 years coming into the area's regeneration. And unlike any of the other plans, this would also involve a huge amount of landscaping. One of the South Down National Park's major purposes is to look after the landscape, and we absolutely respect that. We want that to be a part of what we do.
Those behind the new scheme are keen to win over the support of local people. John Richards used to work at the quarry and still lives next door.
It'll take a long time to clear it up, and that is concrete, hard stuff, like, you know. It's going to be hard work, whatever it is, you know. It can be done. Where there's money, anything can be done, I say.
This is one of 3 places throughout the national park that have been identified as what they call a strategic exemption. Now that means that they don't know what to do with it, and frankly we might be the answer to what to do with it.
The South Downs National Park Authority has previously ruled out a major housing scheme on the site, preferring a mix of small-scale sustainable development. But those behind this latest plan for the cement works believe only a bold vision can overcome the massive obstacles which have blocked all previous attempts to remove this eyesore. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Shoreham.
Now, even if you haven't met her, most of us, of course, are familiar with the public face of Her Majesty the Queen. We've seen her on film countless times on royal walkabouts, but what's she really like in her private moments?
Well, as part of our special series in the lead up to the Queen's 90th birthday, I've been to meet someone who has got a better insight than most. Peter Mann from Berkshire spent many years working on royal flights and serving the Queen.
Well, I first flew with Her Majesty way back in the 60s. Lovely aircraft, it was a very comfortable aircraft. Of course, we would turn the whole of the first class into a royal cabin. They always put a new carpet down. Queen's shoes would get covered in fluff. So I used to say to her, "Take your shoes off, Your Majesty." So she always used to run around in her bare feet.
It must have been quite frightening, serving the Queen.
I come down and try to treat her as a normal person, which is so easy to do. She, in turn, is so relaxed. There was one occasion when I really felt nervous in front of her, and that was my very first trip. Sir Michael O'Dean, who was head of the Queen's household, came up to me and said, "I'm going to introduce you." I felt terribly nervous. And I thought, well, I've been with her for hours and hours, and then suddenly I get nervous because I've been introduced officially.
You've got some fantastic souvenirs of your time with the Queen.
The first trip I did, which was in the 60s, she gave me a cigarette case. After that, I got a number of wallets on trips. And then I think as the royal household decided that they'd better cut back on expenses, it came down to a comb.
Why do you think so many people love and adore the Queen?
You look at her as a figurehead, and she's always accommodating, she's always nicely dressed. She represents the UK in all the ways that you hope a monarch will do.
How privileged do you feel to have seen her in the ways that you have?
I just enjoyed every minute of it, and I think how lucky I am. I wouldn't have missed it for anything. It's been lovely.
And
What
he's
a
lovely.
lovely,
Yeah,
lovely
lovely
man.
Peter there.
Smashing interview.
Perfect hair, all because of the comb, no doubt.
I still wouldn't mind a comb from the Queen.
Well, I'm
Wouldn't have a lot of use
sure
for
we
it,
can
but-
get one from Peter.
Well, let us know if you'll be joining in the celebrations in some way, with a street party perhaps, attending a beacon lighting, or are your children marking the occasion at school?
Yes, let us know by emailing queen90meridian@itv.com. Also tell us where you are from and please leave us a contact number.
Now, Hugh Bonneville, otherwise known as Lord Grantham of Downton Abbey, is back on stage for the first time in 12 years. He's appearing close to home at the Chichester Festival Theatre.
Well, he's playing Dr. Stockman in Ibsen's Enemy of the People, the story of a whistleblower who turns the town against him in what Hugh says is a surprisingly modern theme.
Well, I went to meet him as he prepared to tread the boards in the shadow of his beloved South Downs. This is a home gig for you, if you like, because home is not that far away from the theatre in West Sussex. And you love the area, don't you?
Yes, my folks moved to between Midhurst and Petersfield when I was in my early teens. So really for the past 35 years I've felt like a West Sussex stroke Hampshire person. And so the South Downs have been very much part of my life, and Chichester Theatre for most of my adult life. I've seen many productions here. It does still feel really strange being on this stage, Fred.
There is a musical link for you now with West Sussex as well. A hit musical link, is there not?
Yeah, a friend of mine, Damien Montague, who can actually see the South Downs from his recording studio, said I've been walking in the Downs and some music's come to me. I want to read some poems over it, some Kipling and some Belloc, people who'd written about the South Downs, which I started to do. And then he said, "Have you got any words of your own?" And I said, "I can't write." And he said, "No, just have a listen to the music and see what comes to you." And so I contributed a few bits of written stuff, some reflections.
This is my land. Looping birds and the calls of seas and winds.
And in the end, he jettisoned all, I feel terrible, he jettisoned all the Belloc and the Kipling and stuck my stuff on it. So this sense of collaborating between, different disciplines in the arts have come together into this album.
Did he tell you there's a dinner on Monday to make...
You'll always happily be associated with Downton Abbey, which has just been so amazingly successful. Can you believe it?
No. No, what started out as a project that we thought would last the first season, 6 years later, having done 52 episodes, we said goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's extraordinary the impact it had. I'm using the past tense now because it's all gone. But it was a wonderful thing to be part of, and I think these characters really did become part of people's lives. They were very real to people, which is enchanting and lovely, but it was the right time to end.
As you say, it's been a hit all over the world, therefore you are now instantly recognisable. Is that a downside?
It's a strange thing, but at least people aren't coming across, to punch you. They're coming across the road to say, really like the show or whatever. Except for Rob James Collier, who played Thomas Barrow, he famously said, in America people cross the street to tell you how much they love the show. In Britain they cross the street to tell you they don't watch it, which I think is the great sort of tall poppy syndrome of British culture.
What was your outstanding moment? What's your big memory of Downton Abbey?
I think the group scenes, when we were all together, that's when I loved it best. I'm thinking particularly of the Armistice Day.
Remember, this is not just the end of a long war, but it is the dawn of a new age.
And that really resonated, putting yourself in a position of being there on the 11th hour of the 11th day.
You say it's gone, but I mean, there's always been this talk of a Downton Abbey film. Could that still happen, do you suppose?
I don't see why not. There's always the box set, Fred, available at a good store. There's certainly talk of it. I think the main problem is going to be trying to get us all together, because it's like herding cats. But there is a great affection between us and for the creative team. So I think where there's a will, there's a way. I hope, I would love it, and I know many others would as well.
Lovely, Hugh. Everybody would love the film, wouldn't they?
Yes,
yeah, they want it. And remember, Hugh Bonneville is appearing in An Enemy of the People at the Chichester Festival Theatre for a month from this Friday.
Lovely blue skies and sunshine when we shot that interview. Is it going to last? I suspect it might be. Let's find out. Simon Parkin.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Now, you've got to love a cloud that looks like something else, particularly when it's the one Kerry spotted in Brighton that looks like a heart. You see, you can see it now, can't you? But not much cloud to look forward to over the next 24 hours because, well, we've got very clear skies, but make the most of them, because whilst we've got high pressure in charge and warm air coming up from the southeast through the middle part of the week, come the end of the week, we're going to start to see cold air flood down from the north and a bit of rain on Friday, followed by a nippy weekend with a fair bit of cloud around. But back to tonight, clear skies pretty much all the way. Temperatures down to around 4 or 5 in the towns and cities. 2 or 3 in some rural spots, might even be a bit of patchy frost first thing tomorrow morning, but nothing more than that, and plenty of blue sky to get us going. As we head through the day, you might notice a little bit of cloud just pushing in from the west. That'll turn the sunshine a bit hazy, but temperatures not bad if you can avoid the wind. 14, 15 degrees, but it will be a noticeable easterly breeze along the coast and around the Isle of Wight. High tide times in Poole, 20 to 8 in the morning, 8:30 tomorrow evening.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And in just a moment, we have the ITV Evening News with Mark Austin and Mary Nightingale.
I shall have our late news, so join me if you can. But for now, from the team here at ITV Meridian, thanks very much indeed for watching. Take care of yourselves, enjoy the evening, see you soon.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.